And a pleasant good day to you and yours, and welcome to another presentation of Voices for Today. I'll be your host, and I'm hoping that those of you who are listening out there can call in, interject, and be my company. I wouldn't want to be all on my lonesome. Again, welcome to Voices for Today. And it's so, I mean, so much is going on. So much is going on, I don't even know where to begin. Regional, global, it seems as if though the world is on the verge. I think those who are evangelicals and Christians and so forth, they like when these kind of times comes around, because then you'll hear them touting, yes, these are the ends of days, the Lord is coming, so I can't say whether that is true or not, but I know since I was a child growing up, whenever there's anything happening that is a bit untoward, I've always heard them saying, well, this means, yes, the Redeemer is coming for his chosen people and so on and so forth. It hasn't happened as yet, but let's see how it goes from here on out. Good day, caller.
Grand Rising, Quint, and how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, and good to hear your voice starting things off. And how are you today?
I'm doing good, Quint. Now, yeah, we grew up hearing all those sentiments, the world is coming, Jesus is coming back.
Yeah.
But Quint, there's a lot of ancient history, or our story are surfacing now on social media, Quint. Now, you may or may not know that the president of Ghana, John Mahama, had tabled the transatlantic slave trade a crime against humanity at the United Nations.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And, yeah, let us look at the countries that supported John, the 123 countries, the African countries and the South American countries, including the Caribbean. Now, when we look at Europe, Britain, and America, these are the countries, and Argentina and Israel. These are the countries that don't support, the transatlantic slave trade, a crime against humanity. Now, Quint, when I look at all of what is taking place, right, history is in the making. And I ask myself the question, which side of this history Africa and African globally would be on? Which side of this making of history? You take, for instance, Quint, the Sahel region, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And here we have the president of Kenya, William Ruto, knowing that the Sahel region has kicked out France, but 800 military French soldiers just arrived in Kenya, in Mombasa, Quint. Now, on the continent and in the Caribbean, our politicians in the Caribbean, are they paying attention to these happenings?
That is a good question.
Quint, for the life of me, we are not even beginning to go. We're scratching the surface of the horror that our ancestors bear for us to be here today. And now that we are seeing a change, as I would say, the end of 400 years of slavery, bondage. Quint, I was paying attention to 2019, year of return.
have we
The
seen
year of return, Clint. Are you saying something?
have we seen the end of bondage? Do you really think so when you look around and you see what's happening? For instance, let me show you an example where Guyana has oil and Venezuela has oil, and they're very friendly with the U.S. government, so they're okay. But when they're not friendly with the U.S. government, you see what happens with Venezuela, you see what happened with Iran. So it begs the question, if the U.S., if you have minerals and oil and the U.S. is friendly with you, a rational mind would then realize that the U.S. is most likely ripping you off. Because if they're not
No,
able to rip you off, then they're going to attack you.
yeah. But you see, Clint, now 2 weeks ago, I posed the question on if not this program, the earlier one, Island T, where I asked the question about the scripture that says the biblical God annihilate the Egyptians for enslaving or having the children of Israel in bondage. And I asked the question, well, if the biblical God put forth his hand then to annihilate Pharaoh for enslaving the Israelites, when are we going to see this biblical God bring justice for the enslavement of Africans? Now, this is why Journey is saying this, Quint, and follow me on this. The literature and the writers, the literature of the KG version, the King James Version Bible, when I ask the question, is the characteristic of the biblical character, the God in the Bible, he any difference to what is taking place today?
But you
Because
see,
Quint,
Journey, there's where you and I differ. Even though I do hear you clearly in terms of whether that God, where is he here or there, I do not put any emphasis on that God or this God or whatever. I put the emphasis on I believe in a creator. The creator has determined whatever. I do not know what the creator has determined, but I put the emphasis on me and us as a people making a difference. Okay? Perhaps, I mean, if you look in the Bible, it says the creator helps those who help themselves. Perhaps it is that we have been sitting down on our laurels and looking for one God or the other to do things for us that we should be doing for ourselves.
that is true, Quint, because you see, like I said, Quint, I asked the question to, I think was Troy, and I said, Troy, have you ever prayed for something to God and sit in your sofa and God drop it in your lap? Because you see, you cannot manifest things without your thought, and you have to work towards your thought.
That's it.
That's the manifestation of creation. You first have a thought. Now, Quint, follow me on this. What I'm saying is this, right? We were indoctrinated that God is a spirit. My thing is, has anyone seen a spirit kill? Because all the killing of the Bible was done by man. This is why I'm saying the writers gave us ready-made answers in their literature. Here, there, and all over the place in the book. It says, God said this and God said that. God did this and God. For instance, God said, thou shalt not hate, and God said, Esau I have hated, and Jacob I love. Now, the Christian community is going to put their head on a block and defend that. Now, this have a deeper symbolic reason because, Quint, what Journey is saying, God and the devil is one entity, flesh warring against spirit. Let me repeat this. The biblical character and the devil are the same. And this is why it says, it tells you here and there. And then it's a flesh war against spirit. This is why I'm saying now, no one has seen spirit kill.
But Journey, here, I
Yeah.
mean, it goes back to what I'm saying. I hear you, we hear you, but why always put the emphasis on going back to this God and whether that when for 400 years we know what is happening. So why not move away from that and we start putting emphasis on what we're going to do? Like I said, help yourself and the creator will buttress you. Why always go back to what has been keeping us down and to me in a sense keep on validating them? because I don't want to be continuously having an argue with them and their belief. I know what I believe. I know what my belief is, and I know what I want for myself and my children into posterity, and that is what I'm going to work towards. I don't really give two hoots about you and whether that God did for you and I've reached a certain level. Journey, you have reached a certain level, and in all honesty, you reach where you reach because your parents made a way for you, and then you took up from there, and you've been charting your course. That is what I'm saying. Let us chart our course and stop dealing with this God, 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 God. The Creator will help those who help themselves.
Quinn, yeah, I'm with you, and yet that's the space. That's the space where I'm at right now because you see now, Quinn. My thing is right. A lot of us, we are collective, Quinton. We are splintered and we are manipulated. We are divided, and as such, we are manipulated by the system. Now, I was making a point about 2019 being the year of return. 2019, and most of us don't even understand what the year of return meant. But then the scripture says that in the last day, God is going to gather back up his children that were taken back up into the land of their forefathers. Now, just bear with me a minute, Clint. If we are waiting for God to gather us back up into the land of our forefathers, we who were taken by boats with chains around our neck, Clint. Now, they keep moving the goalposts because as 2019 was the year of return, what they did, they gave us COVID. They create chaos in order to maintain control, fear. This is what they are capable of. They always create. Now, when I look at what is taking place today, now there's a bit of a rift between Pope Leo and the president. Now, all of that again, Clint, we have to pay close attention to the distraction. Once you recognize it is distraction, you overlook the distraction, but you know what the goal is. Because make no mistake, when you see these people strategize, like I said, everything is skewed against we as a collective.
But let me ask you this, Journey. Let's bring it home, because presently something is happening in our region where, as I was listening this morning, and I heard fragmentation within the OECS and the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and the leaders of the other aspects and so forth. Here's my thing where I'm going to bring this home. While we're sitting down and continuously talking about this God and that God and blah, 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 the fragmentation continues. Look at what is happening in the Middle East, or the so-called Middle East. Look at the fact that Iran took out all of those American bases in her surrounding neighbors. And people ask the question, how is it Saudi Arabia has a big army? How is it Saudi Arabia isn't attacking Iran? How is it this one isn't attacking Iran? You know what they realize? They realize the U.S. was using them. And they realized the U.S. started this war unnecessarily. So even though they may disagree with some of the things that's happening, in a sense, they're still kind of glad because the U.S. isn't defending them. They now realize the only person the U.S. seems to want to really defend is Israel. So bring it back home to the Caribbean. Why is it that the Caribbean can't learn that we must not be fragmented? Why is it that the Caribbean can't learn that if the U.S. can come and divide one aspect of us and put a base in one, see how small our territory is. You put a base here, you can almost reach any one of the other islands in close proximity the way we are. So why not deal with unity? I listened to the Prime Minister of Guyana, and he summed it up. He said, they asked him, so what do you think the option is? What do you think? And he says, we only have one option, and the option is to unite. That is what I'm saying.
Queen, this is my message. This is my message to us, Quint. Now you mentioned the Prime Minister of Trinidad. Do you know some of us in the diaspora don't even see ourselves as Africans?
Well, let me be blunt. Are you aware that a lot of Indians, and right in India, their culture is against black people, even their
Yes,
own
Quint.
dark pigmentation?
Yes.
You see, we live in a world where people don't want to accept the truth. And we as a black people, we're so trying to love everybody that we're blinded to the fact that not everybody wants to love us, you know.
That's why I said, Quint, we are the most disrespected people on the face of the earth. And as long as we are divided like this, Quint, we are being controlled. And this is my message to us. We cannot unite until we become knowledgeable of self. And by that I mean knowing that we were a collective before we were divided. Because, Quint, make no mistake, Quint, before colonization, we never saw color within the African continent. Now, there are those who are going to say, what am I talking about? Well, how far back can they go? For those who are going to ask, what am I talking about? Because they put something in the book says that we sold our brothers and we kill our brother. Yes, there's that aspect of our culture that is there. But at what time did that creep into us, into our society?
Okay, Johnny,
We were a collective.
I want to
We
take
were one.
I want to take a bit of a commercial break. You've been on for a while. So I want you to
Yeah.
wrap up your point. If anything, and you can get back in, you can always call back in. I want to take a bit of a
Yeah,
commercial
Quinn.
break.
Yeah, thanks for hearing me, man.
Yes. Okay. So I'll take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
Well, unfortunately, Simeon has stuck, as it has been doing quite frequently these days. So I might as well get back on track. Unable to take that bit of a commercial break. As soon as, if it comes back expeditiously, if it comes back any time before I can really get into the gist of anything, then I will run those ads. But if not, okay, let me go to the phone lines here. Hello, caller.
Quint,
Yes, good day.
good day, good morning to you and to all the listeners in Jesus Christ's name. Now, first of all, I would like to say, Jesus Christ, who is the creator of all men, is the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords and the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. That is Jesus Christ, and he's the God of the Bible and the one and only true living God, Lord God, eternal, almighty one. Now, secondly, I would like to say, in the previous program, and by the way, Jesus Christ have all the right to do what he chooses to do, including killing us at any time he wants to, or delegating to anyone he wants to take whatever life he wants them to take.
But
No.
but before you go further, you see, Greg, I mean, I hear you and I don't disagree, but it's like saying I'm a parent, I got some children, and because I'm in authority and whatnot, I can kill them. I mean, the law is going to come down on me, so that prevents me. But let's say the law wasn't there. Is it because I'm a parent and I brought them into, they were consummated because I mated with a female and they're here and I love them, I can just do with them as I will? That is what you're
No,
saying. You're saying,
no,
and
no.
this is why you all put, even though yes, you're right, the creator has that right to do whatever and whatever, but I disagree when you all say like certain things happen and you say, well, God did that to prove something, and God, no, it is things that we do we foolishly do as human beings, and we get the repercussions for the stupid things that we do, and then we blame God.
No, well, you see the difference between you and a parent is that you are obligated to God and His law. So you don't have to do right to do what you want, but God is obligated to no one, and He is the only lawmaker.
So because that is why a just creator, knowing that that force is obligated to no one, will not just willy-nilly do something because they can. That is my point.
Well, He has the right because we all have sinned against Him, and He, don't forget, remember, killed the whole world except 8 people. And He told Israel to kill out the Canaanites and those other stuff.
Well, I don't believe in every bit of the myths of the Bible, okay? So that's where you and I again differ.
Well, we differ big because you regard them as myths, I regard them as historical accounts.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yes.
And again, why always put emphasis on the wicked things and not put emphasis on the good things? Why always put emphasis on God told this and God did all these wicked things and not just put emphasis on...
God didn't do nothing wicked. Oh. God didn't do nothing wicked. He's all good. And
you know that is why Trump is the tyrant that he is and the fool that he is, because his base feels just like you. His base feels that no matter what he does, he's anointed by God and he can do nothing wrong. Yes,
so that whatever Trump does is right? Are you saying that?
I said people feel that whatever Trump does is right. You're saying that you're using God as an example, and I'm taking that example and putting it off onto another point where we can use that as an example. It is true Trump is in nowhere near the Creator, but the example I'm using still is people will follow certain other individuals to the extent that they cannot do any wrong.
Well,
I have a problem with that. Okay.
I have a problem with that too because they're going against the Bible. Only God cannot do what is wrong. Man does wrong daily. So I got a problem with that too. That's why the Bible tells us only the God of the Bible is the true and living God. All else are false.
Well,
and all who believe that they're gods, they're going to die like men.
If by your example, God could just get up tomorrow and without any reason, but the fact that he can just disseminate man, not because man, we're doing certain things wrong, but just because he can, I see that as wrong. You may say, oh, well, God can, but I see that as wrong. And I believe that the Creator would want to lead by example, and so that is where you and I differ.
Well, like I tell you, Quinn, at one time in the Bible, he killed all the world except 8 people, and he can do it again if he chooses to. But anyhow, Quinn, that's, as you said, we differ, but I believe all the Bible. You do not accept all the Bible. That is a big difference between us. Anyway, and another issue, Quinn, this morning in the previous program, Island Tea, I think it was Cartencia who read an article. Read an article quoted someone. Well, I think where someone said our PM is a liar. Okay? And I think Cartencia also quoted someone from here telling the person they should not call our PM a liar. Okay? No. And Cartencia said she agreed with that. Well, I do not know on this specific issue because I think it was to do with this wahala they're having right now with this CARICOM thing between them and Trinidad and our PM and that sort of stuff. I think that is what the wahala was all about. No, I do not know if what the PM said. I do not know if he lied or if he was telling the truth. I do not know concerning this specific issue. So I'm going to go into the general principle. If a leader is lying, it is not wrong to call out that leader as a liar. Because with all due respect, politicians are among the biggest liars
But you see, Greg,
on the earth.
there again it goes back to semantics. I don't disagree with you, but here's what I've been told, and I'm sure you heard it when you were growing up. Sometimes when we were younger and grown-ups were speaking, and they told an untruth on us. Like we got home and our mother said, "Well, I saw Mrs. So and so, I saw Mrs. So and so," and I said or you said, but mommy, she lied. We would get a whipping because they would say, "Oh, there's a grown up. Don't say that they told an untruth," and but it means the same thing. So
It means the same
I
thing.
don't understand these
Yeah, I
grown
know what
ups.
you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. It still means the same thing.
It means the
and
same
with all
thing.
due respect, if with all due respect, well, there are two sets of if there are two sets of people that above all others that I think the word liars really aptly describe. A ton load of politicians and a ton load of preachers. Okay? And I think the preachers have the edge over the politicians, those who are liars. No, not order, but I always argue for consistency because I always say inconsistency is a sign of a failed argument. We cannot be calling Trump liar and all sort of stuff. But when it comes to our leaders and that sort of stuff, we are not supposed to use the word liars concerning them, no matter how lie they be. We need to be consistent. Trump is a liar, yes.
Again, it comes back to the thing that certain people who feel like that is my prime minister, that is my leader, they don't want to say they lie, they don't want to say they do anything wrong, and they would prefer to be quiet than chastise them or criticize them. And I think that is why things have gone from bad to worse where our leaders are concerned.
Yes. For example, and not this, for example, when our politicians, including our prime minister, and basically our prime minister, because I've heard he said it more than others, but others have said it as well, that all the factors that are responsible for the increase in prices of stuff and services are all imported. None are domestically originated. That's a lie. And they're being liars when they say that. Because there are significant factors that we have imported, yes, that have contributed to the increase in prices, but there are also domestic policies that also, as well, has contributed to the increase in prices and the increase in the cost of living. So it is a mixture of both, not just outside factors only. So they are liars when they deny that truth. Now, another thing, also on the program, McMahon said something, then I think Welcome Colleen contradicted McMahon, and I think McMahon called in again and went back on his word somewhat.
Well, not so much contradicted, but he sort of disagreed with Mr. McMahon's position.
And he said McMahon shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
He said McMahon shouldn't say it, but I agree with the statement that McMahon said.
And Mr.
It's a puppet.
And Mr. McMahon came back on and he said, well, perhaps his semantical use might have been a bit,
and he wasn't diplomatic and that sort of stuff.
Forth. But I agree
but
I agree with you. I feel the same way. I feel that she
Kamala, yeah.
If
Kamala is
people,
a puppet of the US.
People ask the question, if something is obvious, right? If something is clear and obvious, why hedge around it? It comes back to the same. If it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck.
Yes.
It is a duck.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
But again, it comes back to people feel that when it comes to leaders, you're supposed to pat them with kid gloves and don't tell the truth or be extra nice. And that was Mr. McMahon's opinion.
Right.
And it is not an untrue opinion. A lot of us concur with that opinion.
I concur with it. That's my opinion too. That is my opinion. And you can't tell me the U.S. is bombing boats and we don't give in any evidence saying that they were carrying drugs.
Yeah.
Not only that, you know, if you're dealing with drug boats and that sort of stuff, you don't bomb them, you intercept them.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me you're going to just accept the U.S. without evidence, what they say?
That's it. As a leader of your country, and you know, and if I'm not mistaken, she is a lawyer at that. You understand?
She knows,
and she knows that what was done is wrong. But but to hold a position and to make sure that it is known by the U.S. that she's holding their position, she comes and she says things like, well, you know, you got to deal with them viciously and at no time. And look, Greg, I'm looking forward to seeing if this is how we're going to know if our CARICOM leaders are serious, you know. I'm looking forward to seeing our leaders and our attorney generals across the Caribbean island, across the CARICOM, putting forward something to question the U.S. as to why they did what they did.
Exactly. But don't expect Camilla to be a part of that because she's defending the U.S.
Because if we don't if we don't do that, we're saying to the U.S. that you can. And look, I'm so glad you see that very same, whatever the name of that warship, that aircraft carrier was down here, and they were killing our people indiscriminately. And then you see what happened to it when it go up there in the Middle East.
Right.
And then you hear them talking all kind of excuse about it had toilet problem and it had bathroom and whatever fire and so forth. But when it was sitting down in the defenseless Caribbean, it could it was the big old awesome, and this is why I keep saying to Mr. McMahon, you know, this is why I disagree with, and now I am validated. I've always said, not because America is the big old bad old, you just let her come and do as she like, and now she's getting a bit of a touting. And what is she going to do now? People, it's a sad state of affair we're at because people are questioning whether the U.S. or Israel will use atomic weapons. Imagine that.
Imagine that. But not only that, another issue why I agree in my opinion that Kamala is a puppet of the U.S. What has Cuba done the U.S. for the U.S. to be starving them the way they're starving them?
That's a good question.
And you agreeing with the U.S.?
What happened to your humanitarian? What happened to your heart? What happened to your sympathies? You just because a people disagree with you, you're gonna starve them to death. They can't get this. They can't get that. They can't get. In a modern era where oil is important to your infrastructure and you're watching, let me tell you, the U.S. is creating its own demise.
A long time, and it's also Trump has taken that creation on steroids.
Yeah, you're right.
Trump has taken that demise on steroids. Yes, he like he said, man, let's speed up this demise thing.
You
and stop playing around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, but Kamala, U.S. gonna tell people, hey, send back your Cuban doctors and don't take them. And Kamala again agree with all of that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna tell me she ain't a puppet?
Yeah, but
if she ain't a puppet, then why is a puppet?
What is a puppet? Yeah.
You know. And lastly, let me quickly say, as I've been saying, I'm gonna kind of say, this war with Iran and a lot of other war too. A lot of them is egged on by these wolf in sheep clothing like Paula White Kane, and a lot of these people you see Antibian and that sort of Benny Hindem. In Gino Jennings, even though he don't be Antibian, he too is false as well. But and a lot of them is egging on these wars because they believe these wars gonna bring the war of Armageddon, and that means Christ gonna come quickly and take them out for 7 years. And that is what a lot of them are egging on and encouraging these wars. And Paula White, the wolf in sheep clothing, Paula White, who have a ear to Trump because she is his spiritual advisor, is a great influence on Trump for having these wars. And it is a very sad thing, and it goes against the Bible what these wolf in sheep clothing are doing. in egging on these wars and other things as well. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's see if we can get that commercial break now.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Back, and let me see if I can go to the phone lines. Hello, caller. Okay, missed that caller. Caller, do feel free to call in, and let us see if we can have a bit of a conversation. Hello, caller.
Hi, good morning.
Good day.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Quinn.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I want to say something. I have noticed a pattern, a trend, and I want to bring to the fore to the general public. I think this would be the fourth month, come April, the end of April, let's say, that the billboard, the advert of the new smart hospital has been erected down going west, just maybe adjacent across the street from the Ross University. And in my mind, it's like, okay, that's good. It's all good. But given some time, when there are new administration, you will say, well, there's this honeymoon period, 90 days. 90 days. It's like a benchmark. So here's this advert, and we look forward to this smart hospital. But don't you think by now some sort of remedial work, some sort of earthwork, some sort of movement should have been already started? And so I am saying that we are being pacified by this administration with futuristic projects, which is good,
for the building of the nation. But when are we going to see work? When are we going to see the job creation for the people of the nation? No doubt there would have been probably some job fear for some. No doubt some of the contractors might have been contacted. Some of those persons who would have provided material would have also been contracted. But when are we going to see the start of the smart hospital? Are you telling me that this is like a precedent going to be set that will cascade onto the Bassett High School and other projects, so that you just keep pacifying the people with futuristic projects and none coming to the fore?
Well, I guess it's up to the people to ask that question for themselves and come to their own conclusion also. Don't you
Yes,
think?
because after you told us, I think that those billboards was erected in probably December, if my memory serves me right. And by now, some forward motion should have been in place going forward with the smart hospital. I have noticed maybe lately there are plans for the Bastille High School, which was always also in the pipeline for quite a while. So I am looking at that one as well.
But have we not seen on a number of occasions since this present regime has been in power, where we see trucks start moving stuff and say we hear, okay, the school is going, and next thing we see it stall? Have we not seen that?
Yes, on top of 2,400 homes.
Well,
which we had to sample one in Connery and one, I think it's someone said Taylor's, and that fell through. And at the moment I'm engaged otherwise, so I will continue this conversation on another note.
Yeah.
On another time, which I will talk about something else.
Okay then.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for your input. Which brings the question, again, it goes back to the people. Are the people satisfied with what has ensued since this present regime got into power? Are they comfortable having revisited the promises made? Are they comfortable? Do they feel that this is good enough, that you see things start and then they stop, and then we know that it's only a matter of time, and next thing election is going to be in the air. So by the time election comes around, will the people be, and I'm just asking the question, will the people be satisfied that there's been a groundbreaking and construction is going on? I mean, you can look back in history and see where a prior party did that and lost. Okay, so remember that what has been done before can easily be repeated. Hello, caller.
Good morning, good morning.
Good day. Good to hear your voice. Well, I've heard you when I listen in the mornings, but good to hear you.
No, I have been wondering about you. Are you well?
I'm okay. I've been okay. I've been okay all along. I've been back out from my holidays for maybe 3 weeks now.
Yeah, but I don't hear so often.
Yeah.
How is your banana plantation?
Well, I don't know. I would have to revisit that and practically restart. I visited it a few times during my holidays, and the trees are still there, but you know how it is with banana trees. You have to groom them and make sure that you put things around the root so that the moisture stays there, and then you get a good reap of bananas. So there's a lot of work that I have to do in terms of that.
Anyway, let me start by sending belated birthday greetings to Sir Kennedy Simmons.
Yes.
He made 90 yesterday.
Yes, Mr. Chesley Hamilton said that yesterday, that he was sending advance that today would be his birthday. Yes.
Giovanni Rascal birthday too.
Okay.
They called and Mr. Wilshire's daughter studying in Cuba.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
They are on the 12th.
Mm.
So, I want to commend, give God thanks.
Yes.
Because when you listen to the death announcement, I said, you want to know, is there an epidemic?
Well, the last time I heard you, I think it was on Island Tea with the doctor, and I remember thinking to myself, I kind of smiled to myself, and I said, wow, Sylvine is going strong, man. She's batting good.
Yeah, man. You got to give God thanks,
Yes.
Nothing kills you faster than stress.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes nothing do but you're boy. So once you do try,
Yeah.
and you begin to assimilate it,
Yes.
to your body.
Yeah.
That is why whether you believe the Bible or not, Jesus said don't be anxious.
I agree.
Don't be anxious about anything. Anxiety kills you.
Yes.
You don't have to affect you presently. You at a certain age, you say, boy, I noticed all of them about my age, you died. That has nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
God got your days numbered, and you got the number too. You could change the calendar.
Yeah.
Now, I was sharing something last week about 5 minutes can save your life. I don't know if you heard me.
No, I did not hear that.
Well, maybe it should help you and help all of us. I was talking about especially sometimes we're so hurry with getting to certain things. You forget to take time, even for the heart to catch itself.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking the places are nowadays talking about construction workers. You're rushing to get the job done. The place is so hot. Some don't even take 5 minutes to drink water.
Yeah.
As simple as drinking water.
Well, Sylvian, that is something I have practiced throughout my whole life. I've practiced never to, because I watched things when I was growing up, and I've seen people who were going full speed trying to do things, and no sooner than they achieved them, they just died. And I said to myself, it is better to take your time and enjoy some life. So that is how I've lived my life. I don't try to rush. And sometimes I intentionally.
Even retirement.
Yeah.
Some people wouldn't come at the government office and they retire this week and then next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me, when I reach 55, I say, I have done my lot. I work very hard, paid my mortgage. I promised my children a college education, they got it, different levels.
Yeah.
The car I had, I think I had 2 more years on the car. I go home. This is only one I work. I said, man, I don't work. I said, I work in farm since about 17. What I want more work for?
Yeah.
If we plan our life and our business properly, all our 70 years struggling and 18, we got to learn to be content with what we have.
I remember when I was young, there was a particular individual who was not too far from my age, and he had these ambitions, and he made some extreme sacrifices. He practically starved himself, and he did not eat the kind of nutritional meal that he should, and he achieved a house and land and blah blah, and then no sooner than he did, he took sick and he passed on soon after that.
I'm telling you, 5 minutes. Some people are working and they're hungry, but I can't stop. Next thing they faint and pass out. But this article was written about relationships. You wake up in the morning, you're going to work. Well, most people don't work in the same office. And when they're gone, that's the salutation. And the person who wrote to talk about just rushing out of the house, rushing out of a relationship without even having a conversation. And he noticed one day this person died. And the doctor said he overtaxed the heart. And 5 minutes break would have given the heart a chance to recover.
But how does that affect? I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I think I'm kind of trying to follow
let me
in
ask you a
terms
question.
of relationship-wise.
Yes, you have your children, you have your girlfriend or your wife. You all go to work separately.
Yeah.
Or the lady might be at home, right?
Yeah.
You wake up and you start to get ready, and the only thing you're concerned about is getting out of the house. Maybe in your mind you say, when I come home for lunch, we'll have a little conversation or something.
Yeah.
No chance to say nothing to the children. No time to even show appreciation for the little breakfast that the person made. We rush gone. Some people don't even eat breakfast.
Yeah.
And they go on these high intensity jobs, construction. You faint.
Well, I'm one
they
of
get
those.
sick.
I'm one of those individuals who don't eat.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm one of Sylvie, and I'm one of those individuals who don't eat breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. Never have. Really.
You don't rush out the house.
No, I don't rush out of the house.
Do you converse before?
Well, I live by myself. My children are
All the years?
No, but so you want me to give you a scenario of when I was involved? That's what you're suggesting?
Yeah, could be real or how you would wish it to have been.
Well, it depends because nobody every day when they're going out say, well, see you, honey, and that kind of stuff. But, maybe I might be going out, and depending on where she is in proximity to me, I might, reach out and touch, you know what I'm saying, and say, hey, babe, see you later. But then another day I might not do that. I might be preoccupied, and it all depends on your mood. And your
life
mood.
is so fragile. You wish you gone. Even the person home ain't saying nothing to you.
Mm-hmm. I have
I mean,
heard.
if we live our life like that.
I have heard. I remember I was listening to a young woman, and she spoke about the fact that there was a disagreement between her and her father, and she was so angry that she was leaving the morning to go to work, and her father tried to have a conversation with her, and she said no, and she just brushed him off and went. And then on the job, she got a call that said her father had passed away. And for the rest,
5 minutes could save her life.
and for the rest of her life, she never forgot that, because she's thinking, wow, I left my father in anger, and I never was able to come back and see him. So yeah, there are different scenarios.
So this is the concept. It isn't counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Taking that at the time. I mean, we have people, oh God, sometimes you just miss, you don't hear no voice in the house. When you check, they're gone. Mm-hmm. On the job, especially this hot weather, you workmen who work in the open, in the sun. I remember a gentleman, he used to work at the square, at my square, cutting the grass.
Yeah.
He was my husband's friend. He used to be in town pushing this wheelbarrow. He passed the morning. He had high blood pressure.
Yeah.
He passed the morning and he said, it was going down by the square. So I said, why you going up? Looking in the hot sun? I'm going to be there long. The man ain't well reached, the man died.
But then, Sylvian,
So
you can...
we're talking about the fragility of life.
Yes, that's true. But here, this Sylvian, there are some people who every morning they leave. It just depends on your circumstances, your health, and so. There are some people who every morning before they leave, they kiss their wife, they try to thing with the kids and blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean that you can't take in when but I hear what you're saying, though.
I know, but the possibility of you would have left behind a gap.
I hear you.
That's the point, you know.
Yes, I hear you.
And some of us we're killing ourselves for what?
Well, let me
For
ask. Let me ask you, Sylvine, because you asked me. So when your husband was alive and you were leaving to go to work, how often did you take the time to say to your husband, "Bye, honey. See you later"? Was it an everyday thing? Was it?
I would maybe when he started to do it running around, I reduced the amount of honey. But we had decided, because we were newly married, when we came across the concept.
Okay.
Because before that, Sylvina, I gotta go. You know, I gotta go. And I read to him the concept.
He used to be.
5 minutes could save your life.
So he used to be telling you he has to go.
Yeah, you know, sometimes they got to work for 7 o'clock.
Yeah. So so are you suggesting that you used to try to keep him back sometime to get into a little hanky panky?
So something I would say, go in the name of the Lord, because we were Christians, eh?
I noticed you.
Even praying, let us pray.
I noticed you avoided my question. Sylvine, you asked me.
I answered you. You know, I told you I would have been doing it.
Okay.
Consistently.
Okay then. Okay.
Less frequently. When he started to give it away.
Okay, I hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear. When he started to, I can. That is understandable. When he starts to give it away, I mean, you're a human being. You have passion. You have feelings.
Somebody else getting the 5 minutes.
You understand?
I just want all people to pay attention. You know, in the morning, get up and pray. I don't know what kind of God you got, but pray. No, so I said, let me hang up now because I don't want to take up all the time.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your input.
Yeah, and all of us, think about it. Of course, stay with you. You 2 hours come short today.
Okay.
I know that.
Yeah.
All right then. Talk to you later.
Yeah. You take care. And let's take a commercial break and be back.
Found the sound 98.9 winnfm.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
And welcome back. The time, 4 minutes moving away from the 11 o'clock. And good to hear Sylvine there. One of the individuals I've always looked up to. And I remember one time she actually came into the studios of WinFM back in the day a lot of times. But I remember on one particular time, I took the time to say, Sylvine, you're one of the peoples I look up to. And even though you are a woman, you're one of my heroes. I remember telling her that. Okay, so. Hello, caller.
Yes, Quint.
Yes.
It's me again. Now, I think you were kind of gearing towards you being a father. Now, Quint, You are a man, you have children, you might have had a wife or a girlfriend, you have kids.
Never a wife, but girlfriends, yes.
No. You love your children, Quint. But a voice come to you and say, take your son, a voice, Quint. Say, take your son and tie him up and put him on a bundle of stick and gave up your humanity and put a knife across his throat as an offering. An offering unto a voice. Now, would you do that, Quint?
Well, speaking for myself, no, I would not.
Okay. Now, that's the story of the Abrahamic faith. God said to Abraham, now I know.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something before you're going on, because I don't know. We all are different, but yet still the same. Have you ever, during the course of your life, been like walking down the road and then something just comes to you and say, traffic is passing and something comes in your voice, in your head and says, why don't you just run across the street? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
And have you done it?
Well, I can't say I can remember because you see now, Quint. That might have happened. I can't remember what action I took then. But me now, with this spiritual path that I am on, Quint, you see, before I leave home, I always collect my thoughts before leaving, knowing that the spirits of my ancestors, those who were before me, Quint, I ask for their guidance. You see, Quint, why I'm saying this, we all have our concept of what God is. Now, for me, I was in a space when I did believe what was written in a book. I believe because my parents were firm. My mom was very firm about what she received as the word of God and what God is. Now, I am on a spiritual path, Quint, because you see, for me, recognizing that my genealogy, Quint, didn't start with my parents, my mom, my father, or my grandmother, or my grandfather. My genealogy came from those who were before me when spirit became flesh. Where was this? Well, according to the Bible, this all took place in the Garden of Eden, according to the creation story. Where is the Garden of Eden? It is in Africa. The geographical space is in Africa. Now, you're telling me that the linguistic that my ancestors in antiquity spoke was not English. Here we are speaking English. Now, language is the identity of my ancestors. That was stripped from me, Quint, among other things. So if civilization began in Africa, and I know that civilization began in Africa, the ancestors, when spirit became flesh, they weren't speaking English. Now, the Bible says that there is no language where the word of God or God is not in. But then, Quint, when I consider earth, air, water, fire, spirit, my concept of what God is, Quint, is the source, life. Life is a life. Gregory says that God is God and God can take life. I disagree with that, Quint, and I'll tell you why. Life only knows life, everlasting and eternal, life on earth. Thy will on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven is not a noun. Heaven is in your thoughts. Your thought became manifest in all that we can see on earth, diversity, everlasting life. Because all that is on earth is life and love. That's what came from the source. The source knows nothing else but life and love. So to tell me that God can kill because he gave life, I disagree with it. Because life is a life. Life doesn't swing left or right. It's a steady pendulum. It doesn't go left or right. And that source does not reply to us. It waits for us to align with it. And that's the path I am on, Quint. Recognizing those who were before me, who were in alignment. Now let us look at the story of the Babel Tower, Quint. God is against oneness. What the story says, the people were together. They spoke one language, and they decided to build a tower. And God came down to see what they were doing, and he confounded their language. Oneness. Oneness, Quint. God was against oneness. God asked Abraham to give up his humanity to take his only son. But you see, Quint, these stories are deep symbolism. I don't think we begin to scratch the surface of what the esoteric meaning behind this story.
But Journey, this is why when I was a young person growing up in the church, I moved away from the church, because the church was doing the same thing in a sense that you're doing now, even though I understand where you want to go with it. But I feel the church spent too much time bogging down all of its members on this book, and not assimilating that book, mixing that book, intermingling that book with everyday life. And so life is going on. The people in the church aren't aware of different things, the factions of this science and all that kind of stuff, because everybody is bogged down with this book and this book and this about, the Father sent and God said, kill your son and the Babel Tower, but life goes on. I'm saying if you're going to use those examples, you or anyone else, always use them intermingled with life itself, so that people don't grow up and all they know about is the Bible, and they don't know about other things.
But Quint, you have heard me say that my reality is my awareness. If people are not aware, Quint, because you see, Quint, remember again, right? We were indoctrinated. We were traumatized, and this trauma has passed on from generation to generation.
Minutes of taking a little time to relax, what it could do to life and your everyday living. This is what I'm saying.
So, Quint, let me say this then. What comes out of our mouth, it is, once words are spoken, if they are positive, it relates, it vibrates with the source. It guides your thought through the day. Whether affirmation you make, you proclaim it, and you take ownership of it, it guides you. You are aware. You leave home, I drive, Quint. Now, with all the vehicle that is on our roads to the Quint, it is frightening to drive. But before I leave home, I speak words to guide me, and I am minded that there's a lot of vehicle on the road, so I am cautious in my driving. Now, when I go from to and fro and I come back to my house, I give thanks that I return back home safely, Quint.
Yeah.
So you see, my reality, my awareness, I am aware of what is there, what is out there. So for those of us who are in the Christian space, and let me say this, Quint, being a Christian is not spiritual. A person being Christian who have converted, it's almost like to convert, you give up your identity. To become a Christian does not mean you are spiritual. It's a whole different, it's a quantum physics from being Christian to become spiritual. Spiritual is to know when spirit became flesh. And these were journeys at Christ.
Okay.
But I'm saying this to say that there are some, like for instance, Gregory going to say God is capable. And let me just say this quickly. He also said that, oh gosh, I'm forgetting what he said, but something along the line that I'm going to say this, that God said, I am not a man. The book says, God said, I am not a man that I should lie. But God said, isn't it written in your book that know ye not that ye are gods? So how do we interpret these quotes and texts in the book? So you see, now, here is it that God is saying that we are gods. And God said, I am not a God. So what is our concept of what God is? God is life. God is consciousness. God is in earth, air, fire, water, spirit.
Okay, Johnny, I want you to wrap up your point now.
I'll leave it there and let's see what the respondents have to say.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why the politicians decided church and state should not mix. Because the politicians realize that as long as the preachers go in and all they do is teach the Bible, and keep you blinded as to what is happening in life, they can treat you as they want to. It took me, when I was maybe in my just before I came out of my teenage years, to see a black preacher. And it baffled me, and it made me feel so good to see this black man, this man who looked like me. And he had a Bible in his hand, but he was speaking about, like Sylvian did earlier, he was speaking about relationships in the church. And he was speaking about, what are you as parents telling your children to make them be able to cope in relationships? And I remember thinking to myself, wow, how refreshing. As opposed to always just coming and giving you the same old sermon, and you don't understand how to apply it to life. Hello, caller?
And I remember thinking to myself...
Yes, Quinn?
Yeah.
It's me again. Yes. Well, number one, it's really impossible to separate church and state because everybody have their belief as how things are to operate in life.
That is what I'm
including
saying.
Government.
Yeah.
But, yes. But let me say this. You may or may not disagree. I'm going to say I'm using you in general, your listeners, everybody. You may or may not agree or disagree with me. But everything I speak, I always, from time to time, I just say, everything I speak is based upon the Bible, even if I don't explicitly mention it. And even when I explicitly mention it, people should know I try to tie back. But for example, I say, hey, the government should share up the land between everybody, because in the Bible, God told the Israelites to share up the land. And it creates generational wealth, you increase the net worth, that sort of stuff. I defend capitalism and so on based on the Bible. I defend a lot of stuff based upon the Bible. The farmers should own their lands and all that sort of stuff, all based on the Bible. So I do tie in what I believe the Bible says to what I believe, including up to this morning with Kamala, what America doing to Cuba and all that sort of stuff. I believe the Bible speaks to those things. I believe it is injustice and that sort of stuff. So I do try my best to tie in life to show how the Bible speaks to life. Okay, even when it comes to science. I said the Bible, the earth is no more than 8,000 years old and all that sort of stuff. You may or may not disagree with me, but I try to talk where the Bible speaks on these things. But and another issue, I want to say that I saw a video, I think it was yesterday, that DJ Marisha did when he went over the Southeast Peninsula and he went to Shipwreck Bar. And Quinn, that video hurt my heart. Even up to today when I think about it, that video hurt my heart. To see Shipwreck forced to close down, apparently by the government, and the people workers them just outside, and you see them got the bread and so on outside. And even the cook
and I
was walking away.
I heard you this morning, and it broke my heart too. And I remember thinking and this is why I was trying to say to Journey, this is why I want things to apply to life, because when you just stay on just the Bible, and the politicians smile, they're doing they're doing nonsense, and you're allowing them to get away with it because all you do is tout the scripture, and
but you don't apply it to life.
They don't apply it to life. So here is it. The question then becomes, Greg, how do we feel when our governments don't work for our interests? And everywhere we turn, we see our governments seeming to work for every foreign interest and not the interests of those of us who are here. How do we?
You're correct.
How do we feel?
You're correct.
So you mean?
Because
so you mean?
the Bible do speak to these things.
So you mean everybody is valued more than us? You who grew up with us, you who went to school with us, you who kicked ball and ran barefoot with us, and way back in the day when we used to run around without pants, you ran around without pants with us, and now you're the ones who helping to buttress everybody from out there and keeping us down? How do we feel?
Right.
And this is what, this morning when I was coming to work, I heard someone say Quint, and I look across the road and I saw a man with his daughter. And I stood and he ran across the street and he came to me and he was commending me, right? And I remember I said to him before I walked away, I said, but you know, this is where you all must but let your voice be heard. Too much people sit down and they say, oh, Greg is always calling in. Oh, you're only hearing Greg. But where are the other voices? Who's stopping them? Why are they not calling? Why are they intimidated? I mean, say they sit down and the politicians smile. And then when anything, hear the politicians. Well, you mean your three callers why you get? And these people, they stay behind and they laugh. And they don't understand that when the whip hits them now, they want to come to you and say, but Greg, I'm going through this. Could you go on the radio and talk about this?
Right.
Why didn't you go so that when Greg comes on, two more voices are there with Greg? You're going to sit behind, let Greg be out there just on his own, and then when your friends say, Greg always calling in, you laugh and you say, boy, I don't understand that man, But you know that just a half an hour ago, you were telling Greg to put your issue on the radio.
Right. And by the way, one of the things you don't hear me say, you may or may not agree with it, but one thing you always hear me saying, telling the Bible all this as well, one thing you don't hear me say from time to time is that the Bible teaches when we live in disobedience to the word of God, the Bible says God is going to make the foreigners the head and you the locals, the tail. I tied that in with the Bible, and I've been saying this on winnfm for years. Okay? So I ain't just saying Bible without making any connection to life. I've been making connection to life over these years. But coming back again to the issue with the bars, Quint, even up to now, when I think about it, my heart sinks.
Could you imagine that? Repeat what you said. You saw cooks doing what and people doing what?
Yeah, it was yesterday, and somebody WhatsApp channel page when DJ Mary Show went over by the shipwreck bar, okay, doing a video. And he see the workers them locked out. Apparently, the government closed it down. He said they went with a fridge and them sauce, or something like that. Where shipwreck bar is concerned. And because of that, they're not able to do business because of the government. They're not able to do business. The people, them outside, the workers, them outside with the cook and so on, with the bread and stuff.
No, Greg, this is the same government for years and years and years who we've heard spend millions of dollars bailing out other places like Christoph Harbor and so on and so forth. The very same government,
Yes.
And I've never heard that shipwreck needed a bailout. Have you?
I am with you. Never heard that either.
No, they're struggling along.
They didn't forgive Marriott of electricity bills and all them sort of stuff.
All kind of things. But your own people, look, this is why I don't stay in no part with no particular political party. You understand? If this party does good today, I'm going to praise them. If you do bad tomorrow, I'm going to say it.
Yes.
You want to sit down and you want to say, this is my party, and my party can't do no wrong. And you're going to watch your party doing things to your own people,
wrong. And
you're going to be quiet about it. You understand?
And bigging up the foreigners. Not just doing things wrong to people, but bigging up the foreigners.
I went over to one of my aunts and I was sitting down there and I saw a video with Marisha going to a beach over in the country. I think it was in the Old Road area, somewhere down in that side of the country, and being told that the beach was cordoned off and then police come and police want to, and then eventually the police...
That is down where Ramada is.
I know, but what I'm saying is it is another example of where things are being done. Eventually, the police had to come to the conclusion that, okay, The law says you can't block off these access. But where are our governments in this? And it's across the board, because Labour might be in today and another party is in tomorrow, but it is most likely that whoever goes in tomorrow, they're going to do the same thing. This is what they keep doing.
But hold on. I just said that. As you said that, something just come back to memory. The Labour Party is also saying that unity told the bar people them the same thing, that they have to move.
That is what I'm saying. I am saying none. What did I say?
Talk.
What did I say? Saba is no better than Abba. All
Abba,
them are the same.
like that, yes.
You understand?
So unity got to keep silent.
So those who are
and People's Labour Party, they got to keep silent because Labour is saying they tell the bar people them the same thing.
Yeah. So those who are waiting to perhaps get Labour out and win, they have to bear in their minds, when you come in, you got to make provisions for your people. All we're seeing is, look, I grew up in the U.S. Virgin Islands. When I was in the U.S. Virgin Islands as a young boy, the people, the Tomians, those who were born down there, they spent all their time cussing us, cussing those of us who came from St. Kitts and Nevis and Antigua and Anguilla. And they were saying, oh, you ILO people, you come down here, you just want to take all the work, you this and that. And over time, the very same island people that they were calling island people, mind you, they are on an island too, you know, but they're calling us island people. The very same island people end up owning homes, and they didn't have. You know why? Because they felt that just to be Tomians, just to be born down there was enough. So they sat down on their laurels, and when we came down and our parents went down and started to look for work, they cussed us. And now you see it happening here. We're here saying, you Guyanese come here and want to do this. You Haitian come here and want to do that. And we're sitting, and let me tell you, Greg, we're going to wind up just like the Tomians, where everybody's going to have, and we're not going to have anything because we're passive.
Yes, but like I said, Quint, I always, from time to time, make the connection to the Bible. And you may not, you may disagree, but for me, I always make the connection to it, because I believe always that when you live in disobedience to the word of God as a people, God is going to put the foreigners over you. The Bible says that.
Well,
so I do make connection.
I must say, have I ever had to tell you to link it with the Bible? No, because I must admit, when issues are happening, you bring them up.
Yes.
And I've said to you, have I not said to you on numerous occasions? A lot of people say, "Cut off Greg. Don't listen to Greg." And Greg, you irritate me a lot of the times. But I'm not going to cut you off. You understand? Because I'm sure that I irritate you too. This is what I keep saying.
Yes, I would be 90% now.
Yes, this is what
I would be 90% now.
This is what being grown up and adult is about. We irritate each other sometimes, but yet still we're man and woman enough to keep moving on with life. I don't get bogged down, and when I see you in the road, I ignore you because you irritated me. No, we say what we have to say. We move on.
We call out to each other, yes.
That's it.
But Quint, I really do wish, if somebody who knows you and in contact with you, and if they have the video, they show you, because I'm telling you, you see the video, that your heart going to drop out of your chest and going to drop on the ground.
Greg, I'm the kind of person who I don't even have to see the video. I can visualize, because I'm not the kind of person, I don't go on the media, I don't go this. You tell me something and I can relate to it. You understand? I'm not the kind of person who keeps link with people and then people send me videos, and no, I'm not that kind of person. But just hearing you say it, I have a vivid imagination. My imagination, I know it is sad.
Depressing, very depressing video.
Greg, did
to
I
see
not?
What see what your people going through because of your government.
Greg, did I not say to you that just hearing you relate, it broke my heart too?
Yes.
Yes.
I wish others could call in and tell you about it too, side.
But Greg, others aren't going to do it because others are comfortable. They're so comfortable and weak and coward and passive, and they don't understand that they're creating their own destruction because they sit down in their quietness. The government doesn't hear 10 voices, doesn't hear 50 voices, doesn't hear. No, you see the very same U.S. that I spoke to you in terms of U.S. Virgin Islands? You go down there and listen to their talk shows and you hear what's happening. Nobody more vocal than them now, you know.
Right.
They will get on the air and cuss their government. The only thing they don't do is say a bad word.
Yeah. Let me say this quickly. There was a match, okay, with the concerning the bad thing. A lot of white people was in it. Few black people like Africans, so what were the African manners were there. No, I didn't know anything about that protest, and I have been to one of them some time ago, where I was part of the protest. But I want to also believe if I had known about this one, I would have been there as well.
But that is another good example, Greg, because I saw the protest march, and I remember thinking to myself, and I said it on the radio. I remember thinking to myself, our people don't understand the importance of protest.
But I didn't heard about this last one they had. But I hope if they're having another protest concerning this bar issue, that they would mention it on WinFM as they were that mentioned the one before that I attended to do with the SSD land issue. Remember that protest?
Yeah.
And that was on WinFM. They brought that on WinFM, so I knew. Okay. This one with the bad thing, I didn't hear it at no time in WinFM, but I hope if they're having another one, they would also mention it on WinFM, like on your talk shows and that sort of stuff, so that more people could know about it and go to it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, man, I tell you, imagine that, you know. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and I'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
And we're back. The time 11:34, and I did see my phones lighting up, but every time I try to engage it, I realize that the person has hung up, doesn't want to have a bit of patience. But yes, as was being spoken of, we're there with Greg. Hello, caller.
Hi, Quentin back.
Yes.
I'm glad I got in because I laid a template earlier as to the futuristic development of these islands we call paradise, St. Kitts and Nevis. And on one hand, here is where the conundrum lies. On one hand, and this is where critical players like our Attorney General plays a very pivotal role. Because on one hand of the Narrows on Nevis, the SSG has come up for scrutiny in terms of its viability as a piece of legislation and external extrapolation where some of it, how it was crafted, it's not a piece of legislation that's going to redound to the benefit of petitions and divisions, especially landowners on both islands. Even though it starts on Nevis, it will affect Nevis first with the potential Destiny project. But there are other projects that would be unfold on Sinkit that would affect as well. And in the conventional wisdom of advisors and people, goodwill people, who now that it's in the Prime Minister's hand to sign off on, there was an ad hoc committee that was put in place to look at it, to revise it. I am saying all of this to say that this is where we are in terms of our development on St. Kitts and Nevis. Mind you, whether other projects, touristic projects like a hotel, for instance, like the Ritz-Carlton in Friars Bay, if that Ritz-Carlton is still to be here, because the name is being bandied about, but something is not adding up for that particular hotel. It might be another hotel brand. Okay? Or whether any other project, the Prime Minister saw it fit in his wisdom to set up an ad hoc committee to visit or to look at the legislation, the SSC or the SEC, that would have affected on Nevis. And as a result of that, there seems like there's a falling out with the Premier and the Prime Minister over that. Likewise, there are projects on Sinkits that is as much as controversial. May not be it as big in its volume, but nonetheless it's controversial. And because a hotel gonna come, you want to tell me I'm gonna just throw the baby out with the bathwater?
And imagine, listen, I've just got something here, and I'm seeing, and it says here, what's happening, St. Kitts Nevis? Shipwreck generators taken away and water lines destroyed. So has this been done by the government itself? So isn't there a due process? Isn't there something where you go to court? Have our government reached the point where they just give you ultimatums and then they go and they cut things and they disrupt local? I don't know. I'm not a legal luminary.
No, but I don't know. But what I could say, what is happening is like soft sabotage in a soft way to shake up people's nerves if they don't have the testicular fortitude.
But hear this, Africa. Let's use a scenario. Before the late Mr. Keynes died, he came into WinFM. He sat down over there in Studio 2, and I heard him say he authorized some individuals because an outstanding bill was for a particular entity that employed a lot of people in the country, but they were running up their electricity bill, and it had reached a proportion where he said, no, this is unbearable, pay something. And so they would just ignore the government, and so he sent the electricity department over there to cut the electricity because they were outstanding. And he said that the electricity people came back and said the owner or manager of the place almost threw them off the ladder and said, don't you dare do that, because if you do that, you talk to all your people, them that are going to be home and out of work. So here's one scenario where a particular entity, you don't cut off their electricity. We understand that because a lot of people are working there, and even though they're not paying, you don't want your people who are working there to be out of a salary, right? So they run up the bill, and next thing you know, you hear they want debt forgiveness, right? So in one instance, this is okay. You don't cut it off because you don't want your workers to be out. But here's now a smaller entity that employs people, but you just go and you cut their water, you take their electricity. Well, don't you see something wrong there?
Of course. Quinn, I walked. I actually went after the 7th of this month, which was the deadline. And I went there the 9th, which was my birthday, after I was engaged in driving around some of the personnel on the visit from the Taiwanese ship. And I said, I have to go over to shipwreck. And I was told that there was an alternate road. I was told, I have not gone over there. I was kind of busy. But I was told that, okay, you cannot pass this way. You can actually park up there and walk down. But I said, no, I want to drive in. I want to make sure I can drive in close. Not that I wasn't walking, but I want to make sure that this is a path, a vehicular pathway to get there. And then I drove up with a little challenge, but I got beyond. I saw boulders, deliberate sabotage, not emanating from the government office, the bureaucracy. That I doubt. I don't have the feeling that it's coming from that end of it. The sabotage, a soft sabotage nonetheless, to the shake up people. And to make people just throw their hands in the air and say, I give up, I can't handle this no more. And then they say, we win. You know, by intimidation and sabotage.
Yeah, hold a second, right? Hold a second. I'm going to play this clip, and I want people to listen because this is what is happening to us in the Caribbean region. And this is why I say we're gonna wake up one day, and we as a people are not going to have anything. And those individuals who are coming in from abroad, I must commend those Caucasians who were in the march because they know how it is out there. They come here. They
you must, Quint. Why did you go there? I said there's a passage in the Bible, and I agree with what Greg is saying, and I agree with what some people who quoting Bible, and they not intend to dance a yard. Mm-hmm. But yet they intend to go at a wider scope. This thing that is affecting us here, if we don't do something to us, it's going to affect the wide. It's going to be like a disease.
Yeah. Hold a second and listen to this.
Breaking news. The Caribbean Sea is being sold off, and if nothing changes, locals won't own a single wave. Let me expose one of the biggest secrets in the Caribbean right now. While we argue about politics and parties, your government is selling the ocean right under your feet. Here's the hidden truth they hope you never learn. Private corporations from the U.S., Canada, China, and Europe are quietly buying up reef zones, beachfronts, fishing rights, and even entire marine corridors. Yes, the ocean has deeds now. Fishermen in Jamaica are being pushed miles offshore because new exclusive marine zones belong to foreign investors. Barbados has resorts fencing off beaches that were public for centuries and charging locals to use their own shoreline. In Trinidad and Tobago, companies own drilling rights so wide that local boats can't enter their ancestral fishing routes. In Belize, activists caught developers destroying coral to build private docks for millionaires. Marine biologists are warning, we're losing the Caribbean Sea the same way we lost the land through quiet signatures and foreign money. And here's the darkest truth. Some of these deals are for 75 to 100 years, meaning the ocean your children should inherit is already gone. This isn't development. This is ocean colonialism. If you're Caribbean or diaspora, you need to answer this. Should any government have the right to sell the ocean? Yes or no? Drop your flag, drop your island, and tell me if your beach or fishing spot has been blocked off. Hit like, so this hits the algorithm. Hit share, so the whole region sees it. And follow because they're hiding more, and I'm exposing all of it.
You heard that?
It needs to be exposed. It needs to be exposed. It needs to be exposed. Because you know what? I am a small business owner. I drive for a living. I have 2 vehicles. I intend to purchase another one and get my children involved when they're not in their office doing their office chores.
Africa, you understand what that clip is saying? Do you understand what that clip is saying? They're selling off the land, And now these people are coming from external and they're buying up the ocean. You know why? Because they want to speculate. They want to make sure if oil or something is there, they want to be the ones who control it. And our governments are just acquiescing. And our people, you see a march protesting something that is happening on your beach, and you see more Caucasians in that march than your own people. And your own people casually look across, and then they don't understand when it comes to haunt them now. What are they going to say?
I'm on the radio. Yeah. So, yeah, Quint. Yeah, I walked down there yesterday, and I saw a burst pipe from, I think, whatever they dig up. Is a pipe under the bus, and the water is just running. And someone knows, because I saw, it seems like it's a lead from the, what we call the Dr. Kennedy Simmons Highway. I was instrumental when the road was being resurfaced. I told the water department to stagger some of water mains for potential developing areas so that they can get access water without they having to dig up the road again, you know? So the guys took up the advice, and so from here today, as you go over there, there will be a water lead somewhere there, and a kind of outlet so that, you know, then guys could set up and lead water to whichever place is going to be developed. And so I noticed that. But there was an access road which was blocked off, but vehicles got down. When I went down there, I saw about 15 vehicles parked there. And that was the Thursday afternoon. Well, I'm not on Facebook. I'm not a Facebook person. I'm not like that. I will get the message by word of mouth that will come my way, and then that's how I operate otherwise. But to my surprise, I did not know till Sunday, and I walked down there, and I realized, and then I saw the video. Someone sent me the video last night, and I saw, you know, Quint.
Yeah, I'm
Hello?
listening. I'm here.
The point I always will make, you know, there are coexistence. We can coexist. You don't have to because whether you employ 10 or you employ 20, employment is employment. Is employment. Persons are working. So why you're gonna get rid of 10 to get more 20? It seems like, yeah, the volume is more, but 10 persons are out of a job. Why won't you have 10 persons employed and then 20 more get employed? That's 30. Rather than you employing 20 and then you take 10 persons out of a job and it's only 10. The volume, the numbers are bigger. And as for the white folks and the people who partook in the match, otherwise, our petitions and divisions are so misconstrued. They thought that it was an all-white match when they should be so ashamed to see expats partook in the match, and where were they? Well, you have a passage of scripture that say, if human beings don't speak and say the things and act and stand up for some right, the rocks will cry out. So here is it. Non-petitions was much more in the match than, even though at the end of it, down at the ferry terminal, they gathered, they got involved with the camaraderie and get coming around and so forth. But that speaks something else to who we are. And it is the Jesus syndrome, I call it. I call it the white boy Jesus syndrome. Now that white folks got involved and they say, well, this is validated because white people got involved, well, white people always stand up for something good. You know what I mean? There was more, black folks in the island were more empathetic. And on the other side, they were saying, like, I was siding with white people against development in the country. You know what I mean? When white people come here, have the value, see the value in our beaches, and see that, yeah, I mean, this should be a local thing in terms of its authenticity and in terms of its ambience, what has been created on the beach. And that can coexist along with foreign developers. That was always my stance. But they could not see beyond their nose bridge. They could not see the bigger picture. And now this thing is blowing up in their faces, and it's causes another calamity to the Jew administration. You know? And the Attorney General is involved again. For the umpteenth time, he is involved because he's the eyes and the ears of the government. And he is the one who must broker the deal there because it's law. Where he had was to provide an alternative road. If they're going to block off one road, they had was to provide access to the beach because that is also law. And no one is going to stop me from speaking this way I speak. No one. And don't know how much I could quote the Bible. The Bible have to mean something to me. Here, instinctively when we live.
That's it.
Because it is said I have to dance a yard before I dance abroad.
But
it's not applicable to me out there,
but we don't want
to. It's not applicable to me here. It must be applicable to me here before it's applicable.
Africa, not all of us want to wait until we die and go to heaven to enjoy something, you know.
But Quinn, I always say, you know, nobody died for me, you know. And if I was a Christian, that I know Jesus died for me, I would even be more vocal. Because I would not have anything to worry about. Somebody done died for me. My life done in somebody else's hand. But my life and my future is in my hand. Nobody died for me. I have to shoulder this responsibility. Just like how Jesus had to carry his own cross. And I have to carry my own cross. Thanks for listening.
Well, you're most welcome, and thanks for your input. And well said there. I mean, but this is what I've always been saying. I'm saying that until you, how does this saying go? Those who stand up for nothing fall for anything, and we see it playing out again. I mean, the U.S. came and brought a ship into our waters and just started killing our people, and none of the attorney generals in any of the islands in the Caribbean, not one of them I heard put forward something that said, we want you to explain why you came and just decided to kill our people when there's a due process. Not one. But yet still we're hearing about attorney generals involved in this and involved in that and involved in so many different things that seem to be more of a negative to us than they are positive, you know? Hello, caller.
Mr. Moderator, good morning. Good to hear your voice again. I've been out of touch with you for a while.
Yeah. Well, caller, it's good to hear you, but I want you to do me a favor, right? I want you to, whenever you can, call in, and don't wait until something is only something that applies maybe to you and directly to you. I want you to take part in more conversations because we need more voices. We need more people making inputs, okay?
I heard you loud and clear. The truth is, I was out of touch for a while. I was so occupied that I haven't listened to a show for a while.
Okay.
And so I just had a little break and just got in. I wasn't listening from the beginning. I just got a chance to listen.
Yes.
So it's not that I am avoiding. I would love to be involved in most of what is going on, but sometimes I just can't.
That's understandable.
Yes. One of the reasons to where I live on Nevis, I cannot get the station, so I will have to, when I have the time, to use the phone to get you to the I cannot get it by radio.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. It's impossible, so. And sometimes I'm just not in the position to make the phone call.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
What I want to say that I was involved recently in 2 awareness marches. The one in St. Kitts to bring awareness to what's going on in South Piers Beach.
Yes.
And on Friday, the one in relation to the injustice that is done to not only Rastas, but to people who generally use weed
yes, yes.
the business with weed.
Yes.
The thing is, when it came to the march in St. Kitts, I was very, very disappointed.
Yes, I assure you
in
would be.
Our local people not standing up for ourselves.
Yeah,
and I was very pleased to see the number of expatriates who came out and are fighting for us.
Yeah, imagine that, yeah.
When we refuse to fight for ourselves. And that is diabolical on our behalf.
Yes.
Now we realize that there's a trend coming down, and you played a clip earlier, coming down through the Caribbean.
Yes.
Where our governments are bent on selling us out for a foreign white entity, for them to come in and make money, and for we the local people to be deprived of making a living. What the only difference between what is done at South Piers Beach and what is proposed for Destiny is that in Destiny we are willing to give them their own everything that they want, the country within themselves.
Yeah.
And I think it's the only thing that didn't call for is for the very same thing that Destiny asks for. But the mindset is the same.
Mm.
And I'm troubled that a government in St. Kitts and Nevis, a government who pride itself to be after the mantra of Llewellyn Bracha, has reversed everything that Bracha stood for and is giving it back to our colonial masters or the descendants of them.
Yeah.
That is very disappointing. For me too, when it came to the march with the Rastas, I was disappointed that I saw more Rastas from St. Kitts
yes.
being a part of this than the Rastas in Nevis. I look around and I wonder where they are.
Yeah.
Because so many persons in Nevis profess to be Rastas.
Yes.
But when it came time for them to stand up, they were not there for themselves.
Yeah.
I am not a Rasta.
Mm.
I am not a smoker.
Yeah.
But I defend the right of the Rasta to have the same freedom that I have to practice my religion.
That's it.
They should have the very same right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then when you look at what the government set them up, you listen to the utterances of the Prime Minister before he got into office. You listen to them after they got into office. You listen to the pronouncement of the Minister of Agriculture in St. Kitts, Samuel Duggan, in relation to this marijuana issue. And then they have gone full circle and gone back and did the very same thing that they condemned.
Yeah.
And I think every right-thinking citizen of Nevis needs to stand up and condemn this. Because these guys were set up by the pronouncement of our leaders.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to stand with them as much as I can stand with them. The very same way that I'm fighting against Destiny,
yes.
the very same way I'm going to fight against the government oppressing our young people, of my Rastafarian brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It is it's an injustice that is done towards them. And so thanks again for giving me a chance to share.
Well, thanks for your
input. Whenever the opportunity presents itself, and I will be in with you, my brother.
Yes. Thanks much. You take care.
Thanks.
Yeah, and to end, we're going to go to the headline news soon, but to end, yes, this is the problem that we have. Kittians only want to stand up, if they do, in the smattering of a numbers when it deals with St. Kitts, and vice versa. Nevis only wants to stand up when it deals with Nevis. And we keep forgetting that we are one, St. Kitts, Nevis. And oftentimes I'm so irritated when I hear leaders get on a platform and they say, St. Kitts, St. Kitts, St. Kitts, St. Kitts. And I'm saying to myself, St. Kitts, Nevis. St. Kitts, Nevis. Just the fact that they only say sink it, it tells you how they're thinking, and it tells you they don't pay any and give Nevis any credence. People, we've got to wake up, okay? And with that, I bring an end to Voices for today. It has been a pleasure. Do take care. Coming up next will be the WinFM headline news, but I'm waiting here for this machinery to come out of its stuck mode, as it often does. And again, thank you for taking part. And again, to that brother in Nevis, I hear you. It is not always that we can get through and we can do the things that we want to do, but when we can, let us try our best to involve ourselves, take part, and don't just wait until when the whip hits our back to come out and cry out, help, help, you know. When the whip is hitting your neighbor's back, cry help to you, understand? Or say something and say, come on, man, that's my neighbor. Don't treat him or her like that, okay? Because if you sit down and you just allow them to beat your neighbor, they're looking at you with a side eye, and it's only a matter of time, and they're going to say, okay, we got them where they want them now. We have them where we want them. Nobody there to defend them. They never defended, and no one is going to defend them. And then the whip hits your back. So get on out and say something. I mean, it is rather frustrating when you see what is happening. It's happening right in front of our eyes, and we are just so caught up in our everyday life, which is important, mind you. Your everyday existence and your survival is important, but also we are interlinked, we are interwoven, we are intermingled, and what happens to the brother and the sister happens to you. And we're seeing it play out where you have the U.S., the big old U.S. of A., and you see what is happening, because a particular set of people, way back when he started, and people would criticize him, and you criticize him, and he tells you you're despicable, and you should lose your job, or you're ugly, or you're this and you're that, and his fan base laughed and they enjoyed it. And now a lot of his fan base, they're suffering. You understand? A lot of the Hispanics who thought that they were closer to whites than blacks, and who felt, well, if anybody's going to get the brunt, it's going to be those blacks, and now they're being deported, and you hear them crying. What we were saying is that when you see people feel pain, have a heart and feel the people's pain before you are forced to feel the pain.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment.